Hello everybody, welcome back to the Sleep Sleeper series, or welcome if it's your first time, because this video is a very bit of a different, interesting one. I want to actually define what the Sleep Sleepers is. Now, I've done this in a couple of videos throughout the course of the Sleep Sleepers videos, but they're kind of in random videos in the middle of it, so they're not really like named that way. It's kind of difficult to find them, so I'm just making this video to cite back to this of anytime anyone has a question of what Pokemon are and are not allowed, I'm going to cite back to this video. Now, this could theoretically change as time goes on, because some of these definitions are subject to cause certain Pokemon to become unallowed and others to become allowed in the future that aren't currently allowed. And we'll get into that as I discuss this. So, for those of you that don't know what the Sleepers is, first the description is, it's my experimental account that I have, my secondary account that's on a separate phone that I just use. It's an alt that only allows the bad Pokemon. Now, I put that in quotations because a lot of them I think are viable, but a lot of people don't give them a lot of credit because there are better options. And I think the difference between species is not as big as a lot of people make it out to be. And the whole theory behind the Sleep Sleepers is that good sub-skills and natures make the difference between species. Sub-skills are greater than species. And how am I defining what Pokemon are and are not allowed is the topic of discussion in this video. And I have this list here. Now, this is for berry specialists, this is for ingredient specialists, and this is for skill specialists. I'll first discuss what is and is not allowed for skill specialists because it's the easiest to define. When I was going through them, I found that a lot of the best skill specialists just come down to what skill they have. So I just decided I'm just going to ban these skills. Now, these yellow skills in the middle are ones that currently don't exist on skills Pokemon. And I'd be kind of surprised if they added any of them on a Skillsmon. I'd like to see a skill copy Skillmon, but it's not in the game yet. But that's why they're in this like yellow middle ground area. And all the Pokemon with all the skill specialists with these main skills are allowed. Because I've just looked through them, and that seems to be the best way to just say which ones are more mid and which ones are more good. Because I'm noticing, I've noticed a bit of a trend, and the community tends to favor the ones with these skills. And few of them that have these skills, like, they fit more niche roles. Like, Extra Helpful S is very much so focused on, like, overstacking berries, and this usually when in tandem with Helper Boost, it's usually not used on its own. So that's why I bring it up there. Cooking Power Up S is very heavy cooking-focused strategy, but without the presence of Tasty Chance S, it's not nearly as powerful, unless you can use it to, like, make certain meals that you wouldn't otherwise be making because you aren't using a good camp ticket. And Energizing Cheer is probably the biggest example of this. I don't have access to energy for everyone after relying on Energizing Cheer, which has seriously changed how the account plays out. Because this is, like, the most core centralizing main skill in the game. But bans for main skill only apply to skill specialists. If an ingredient specialist, say Chansey or Blissey, is or has energy for everyone, that's not the reasoning for Blissey's ban. Now, Blissey is banned, but that's for an entirely different reason, not for the energy for everyone. So, now let's get... So, that's how I developed this list. These are all the skill specialists that have these skills, and these are all the skill specialists that have these skills. I didn't put Darkrai on the list anywhere, but it's banned, just know that. Anyway, ingredient specialists. Ingredients, I defined it by this way. So, when putting into Rain on X for infinite inventory, as well as infinite energy, and 1 8.5 hour long sleep, that doesn't matter so much for ingredient specialists, but, and then, yeah, including Pity Proc and stuff. Actually, a lot of those things don't matter. But the biggest thing, inventory, maxed, or infinite. When comparing with no sub-skills in nature, just at a base level, if it is the top producer of any particular ingredient, it is banned. If it is if a pseudo or a 16 pip option is the top producer, like Farfetch'd over here for leeks, Tyranitar for soybeans, Tyranitar for ginger. If it's a pseudo or Absol for cacao, if it's a pseudo or 16 pip option as the top one, I also am banning the second option, or down to whatever the next non-16 pip non-pseudo option is. which would be kind of funny with Corn. If Beware wasn't there, then it would actually lead to Mawile getting banned for Corn. But actually, no, not Mawile would also get banned. Yeah, all the Corn producers would get banned, but Comfey is legal because Beware's there, is kind of the idea. So Beware provides a buffer for the Corn. Dragonite's still banned because it's the best producer for herbs. So that's where all that comes about. Now, I do have a couple here in yellow. And also, notably, non-ingredient specialists cannot get banned for this reason. That really only matters for the Slow Twins, because otherwise Slowbro would be banned for tail productivity, because Ditto is a 16-pip option that beats out Slowbro, so Slowbro will be the next on the docket. Non-ingredient specialists are not getting banned for an ingredient reasoning, same as with the skill for skill specialists. Now, there are 3 exceptions here. These are ones that are in yellow, and these are ones that I just kind of self-deemed. I was like, these are a bit too close in productivity to the top option to really consider them not reasonable. And that really is Abomasnow and Victreebel compared to Luxray. The difference here is less than a single tomato a day. So I've taken them off the list. However, if we go down to Mime as the next one, there is a significant drop-off. So Mime is allowed. And then the other big one was Charizard. Charizard is banned, is in this weird soft ban area, because even though it is outproduced by Aggron and Beware, once again, the difference is within just a couple of sausages. So it is banned as well. But I put it in this yellow zone because it's technically allowed by the way I define the rules, but it doesn't feel right, so I put them in there in this kind of veto zone where even though the rules allow it, I'm still not allowing it myself. And then berry specialists are the easiest ones to define, probably also the ones that are going to be the most in flux. I've just said, okay, if it's a berry specialist and the final evolution, then I just look at it at its base main skill level and have favored berry on all of them with berry finding S enabled. Then we just compare for total strength. Now, the reason why I use total strength is I think it's a more fair thing to compare for berry specialists, because I think if you just evaluate them at sneaky snacking, then I think that undervalues the value of their main skill, and I think that's what causes certain berry specialists to underperform, is the fact that they have a garbage main skill. So when comparing in this way, don't even worry about the 2,000 hours, that wouldn't matter, because I also gave them infinite inventory, so that they wouldn't enter sneaky snacking at all, and that wouldn't be a consideration. When making this comparison, this is where I'm putting them at. Now, if I was to adjust these things, like say, if I made it max main skill level, if I was willing to dump seeds into it, then a Pokemon like Houndoom is going to shoot up in viability. And Weavile actually drops quite a bit. So I'm using base because it's the most realistic for where you'd be using a berry specialist at. And then I'm just taking the halfway point, which as of right now is right here between Butterfree and Banette. Technically, Butterfree is the halfway point because it's in the exact middle between an odd number. But I'm allowing it because I feel like only banning the top half is more reasonable. But the bottom 50% are all allowed. So that's where we generate this list from. And why all of these Pokemon specifically are banned. And every time that a new Pokemon's added, if there's a new berry specialist being added, I'm going to take it back here, see how it falls in, see if something gets now banned, because if they add a Pokemon that's worse than Butterfree, suddenly Butterfree now gets banned. Which is why I'm actually kind of, like, the number one, and like, these middle options, I'd say Houndoom, Pikachu, Halloween Hat, and Butterfree, they're kind of in an uncertain area that I've kind of also soft-banned them, similar to how I've soft-banned these ones. Where I just don't want to, because I'm worried that if they add more bad berry specialists, then they're suddenly going to be banned, and I don't want to be investing in something that could get slaughtered for me, or suddenly become unusable. So there's kind of some semi-soft bans with berry specialists as well, where they're technically allowed, but I'm going to try and tread lightly with using them. But as of the time that I'm releasing this video, these are the official lists of what is allowed, what is not allowed, for Pokemon in the Sleep Sleepers. This is likely to change as more Pokemon are added to this game. In fact, I can already tell you I haven't even updated it yet for tonight because I'm recording this on the night that Farfetch'd came out, and I haven't added it to this list yet. So there we go. Here we'll live update. So this list is guaranteed to change as more Pokemon are added. But as of right now, this is the way that I defined it. Also, notably, I just recently moved over Ingredient Magnet. I previously had in the banned skills list, but after much discussion in the Discord, a lot of people agree that it really isn't that powerful of a main skill. So I decided to unban it. And now Heracross and Vaporeon are two new additions to this one. These are still in flux. If I'm going to change the way I define what is banned and what is not banned for any specialty, it'll probably be Skill Specialist, just because it's got the most up to interpretation of what should and should not be allowed. Meanwhile, these ones are more coded in hard set numbers of it produces the most under these conditions that I'm analyzing them on. And that's how I'm determining what is and is not allowed. So, that's pretty much it. To summarize how I'm evaluating the sleepers. If you have enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Down in the description, I'll have a link to join the Discord. You can come join us, hang out, talk about all things Pokemon Sleep and the like. And as always, a huge thank you to all my channel members. If you want to become a channel member yourself and support me in that way, just so you know, I don't have any paid rewards for members, but the option is down below. And I do give a huge thank you to all those members. And as always, I thank you all for watching, and hope that you all have a wonderful day. Bye-bye now.